Thank you for having me. But when talking about the local level, it's always about transforming ambiguous policies into straightforward practice. So the local level, the street level bureaucracy cannot just delegate the issues at a lower authority. They just have to decide. They have to act. And this is what attracts me to the local level, because especially in Germany, our migration law, all the regulations are full of ambiguity, of uncertainty that is produced by the regulations, uncertainty for the migrants, but also for authorities, for the administration on the Länder level, so the state level and the local level, the municipalities. And somehow the municipalities have to transform this ambiguity into straightforward action. And this is and how they do this, and how they transform what we call implementation gaps into their own policies is fascinating. Well, the first thing I had to learn when researching on municipalities was that they are so diverse, that diversity of municipalities is so there's so a wide range of policies and policy outcomes and policy makers, that it's hard to really tell that this is what municipalities do. But however, there are some things that are peculiar about municipalities, about their approach, which is more, say it's less ideological. It's not so much about the party politics. It's more about getting things done. And I think it was the mayor of Melbourne who said, "Nations talk, cities act." And this sometimes is true. There's a lot of talk in cities too, but at least this might be something that is different. And we try to theorize what makes municipalities to become active in the field of migration and migration-related diversity. And we found that party politics is not something that makes municipalities go forward. I think when it comes to the local level and why they become active in the field of migration and migration-related diversity, we can clearly say that, at least in Germany, parties do not matter if municipalities becomes active or not in this field. But there are other factors that we usually in the public debate say they are important for municipality to become active. For example, financial issues. We think that only wealthy municipalities could afford to house refugees properly, or something like that. But this is not the case. It's not about money. It's not about party politics. It's more about frames and narratives at the local level that people tell themselves about if they are sure that they can make it or not. And if they think they have tight hands, we call it like a frame of tight hands, that when municipalities think they cannot act, they don't have the competencies and don't have the right to do special things that actually they can. And it's about key actors, of course, about people, about persons, key figures in the public, in the administration, particularly mayors, but not only mayors, and also people in the administration that can really make a difference. And so we call that transformative factors that can transform like a bad situation, or like a structurally unfavorable situation in rural, structurally weak municipalities, and they can make them active players in the field of migration-related diversity. Well, in 2015, the situation, to begin with that, the situation was kind of different, because it was all about, can we manage that? So this famously, by Angela Merkel, this famous phrase like, wir schaffen das, we will make it, was all about management skills made in Germany. So this was like a challenge that we can manage. And the situation has changed, and the debate has changed. It's not about managing it; it's about, can we afford it? Can we afford it from a financial point of view in the poly crisis? Can we afford it from a cultural perspective? And so the debate has changed, and so have the responses in the municipalities. But to answer your questions about some examples on the ground, how they can make it, I remember a mayor in a small rural municipality who actively tried to develop an integration plan, which was not his task, which was task of higher level authorities, to integrate refugees, to not only do what he was obliged to do, like housing refugees, but also to make them part of the rural community and to give them jobs, to make them stay, because a lot of people left his town. And so he was really, really like a strong player, advocate in favor of refugee reception to make his town prosperous again. And so this was what he really put forward, and he was from a conservative party. So it's not about progressive things coming from left-wing parties. It's all about these people on the ground and their narratives. What do we need, and how can we move forward? And he was really he was then really developing strategic thinking on migration that was quite advanced regarding his small town of 5,000 inhabitants or something like that. We when we have these these statements that refugees are overwhelmed, and we work closely together with a lot of municipalities, like, I don't know, 100 municipalities that we have contact on a regular basis, and we did not hear those things in this like alarmistic tone. So we never heard about gyms converted to refugee shelters, and so we were like, we were looking for numbers, for statistics, for surveys to really back this discussion about overwhelmed municipalities, and we did not find anything. So we said, okay, let's do our own survey, and we did it twice, in November 2023 and in May 2024, and we basically asked all municipalities in Germany, and we got 600 answers first time and 800 second time that came back. Municipalities of all different sizes, and rural and urban and east and western part of Germany, and we had quite a clear tendency. I mean, those numbers are not to be taken for like these fixed numbers. It's not about 65 or 60%. It's about a tendency. Yeah. But we can say that in the first round in 2023, when the refugee reception in Germany was really, and the debate was quite emotional, it was about 60% of the municipalities who said we can still manage. It's challenging, but we can still manage. And almost 40 said, well, it's really hard to manage. We almost fail, but still 60% said we can do it. And in May, so half a year later, the situation improved, and it was now about 70% who said, and even more, that, well, it's still challenging, but we can make it. And the number, as municipalities who feel really overwhelmed, they decreased. And the funny thing was that in the eastern part of Germany, it's almost 5 to 8% of the municipalities who say they are overwhelmed. And this is the region in Germany where the debate is more intense. It's more emotional. And so we kind of feel there's a decoupling of the debate and the migration realities on the ground. And this was one finding from our study. There are some other findings regarding other authorities that we have, because it's not only about housing. Yeah, and there are immigration authorities who have to implement refugee law, or asylum migration law, and they are in fact overwhelmed, because they have to deal with a lot of cases, with a lot of ambiguous legislation, and there's kind of a crisis there, but not so much in the field of refugee housing. And it was interesting, because we also asked the municipalities which forms shelter do you use, and the debate in Germany was a lot about tents, about gyms, about those bed cots that were below the basketball basket, and these pictures were really all over the news. And well, we found that it's only at 6 or 7% of the municipalities who actually use gyms as refugee accommodation. And in the news, where there was quite a broad coverage of these numbers in the German media, and a lot of articles really illustrated these findings with gyms. With gyms with a bed. So this tells you a lot about the discourse and how sticky it is, and how hard it is to get over this discourse of overwhelm. Yeah. Yeah, well, in the post-2015 period, there was a lot of talk in rural municipalities about these potentials, and about skilled labor shortage in rural areas, and how refugees could help to mitigate this challenge. Even on federal level, there was in new legislations, there was this hope that refugees could help German economy to flourish. However, over the past 5 years or so, this situation has changed a little, because even especially in rural municipalities, those high hopes were kind of dashed, because people moved away, people moved to bigger cities, and a lot of legal issues preventing refugees from actually working, or from finding work, did not help. And so these days, I'd say that the narrative of potentials, economic potentials, and labor migration and refugee migration is not so important for the debate anymore. We witness, however, what I have called a meritocratic turn in refugee policies. That is that we use utilitarian norms or utilitarian mechanisms and introduce them into refugee reception, and that we evaluate a person's situation on the basis of his or her capabilities to help the German economy, and not so much according to his or her needs. And this even goes so far as to those commissions. In German, it's Härtefallkommission, and those commissions who really have to decide on those particular cases when all legal perspectives to stay are not out of the question anymore, and they have to decide on whether there are social needs, special particular needs that person has to stay, for example, health reasons. And we can see that increasingly utilitaristic arguments about persons' integration successes enter this area, and this is what I call the meritocratic term that we use. We evaluate people's refugees' perspectives to stay or characteristics on an economic basis. But perhaps this is not something that's new to Canada, for example, because in a lot of classic immigration countries, they have always done that. Yeah, and all resettlement programs have this kind of this aspect: do people fit into in their new environment? And Germany has long distanced itself from this logic, and is now maybe it's just becoming more. When thinking about refugees in municipalities, we always diagnose kind of a mismatch, because in Germany, at least, refugees are distributed, are allocated to places according to no plan. Actually, it's just happening, and refugees and municipalities who are affected by this process most do not have a say. And what we try to do in the Matching project is to give them a say. Yeah, we want to give them a say. We want to we ask them, refugees. We ask them what needs do they have, what plans do they have, what aspirations, and we match that with an algorithm with the structure integration structure of the municipality. And this works. Technically, this works a little like an online dating platform, but we really hope to make this integration process more efficient. We want to reduce secondary movements within the country, that people really fit there, and they embrace the decision where they have to go to, because they were part of this decision.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. No,
what's interesting is maybe also that it's not just an academic project. We developed it together with 4 states, with 4 länder in Germany, and it's currently tested in the field in those 4 states, and we're planning to go on, and we're in close contact with the German Federal Ministry of the Interior to develop it further for resettlement purposes, for example. Yeah.
All that.
It's why, I'm so convinced it's that knowledge production in the field of migration cannot happen in academia alone. We need this close contact to people in the field, working in policies, but also in administration, but also in civil society organizations, because they all have this specific knowledge, and sometimes it's more advanced than academic knowledge. And so I think we can only become innovative and become innovative thinkers in the field of migration if we really do this transdisciplinary exchange, and not only exchange, to really develop joint projects. And this is something that I really love doing, but it's quite a hard business, because you have to constantly translate between those different spheres, and particularly in Germany. It's not so easy to switch from academia to administration and backwards. It's almost not happening. And so we work closely with a lot of people who try to do that, and try to advance.